So in this video, I'm going to tell you a little bit about what British Israelism is, and because this theory unfortunately still comes up from time to time in discussions about royal genealogy, I'm also going to tell you why British Israelism is wrong. The cult I grew up in was called the Worldwide Church of God. Collectively, the ideology of these groups is called Armstrongism, named after the founder of the Worldwide Church of God, Herbert W. Armstrong. That God was going to destroy the world very soon, that a European superpower called the Beast was going to appear, and that we, the chosen few, were going to hide out in Petra. And that we, the chosen few, were going to hide out in Petra. And that we, the chosen few, were going to hide out in Petra, is something called British Israelism. The idea first became popular in the 1800s. The idea first became popular in the 1800s. The idea first became popular in the 1800s. And today, it is still being promoted by groups such as those that follow a white supremacist ideology called Christian identity. And today, it is still being promoted by groups such as those that follow a white supremacist ideology called Christian identity. And history is pretty clear about what happened from this point on. There was the Maccabean revolt, the wars with Rome, and then eventually the Jews became scattered throughout Europe and the rest of the world. But British Israelism is mostly concerned with what happened to the other 10 tribes, those that comprised the northern kingdom of Israel, and who supposedly became lost to history after being conquered by Assyria. There have been numerous theories about these so-called lost 10 tribes, with British Israelism being only one of them. Other theories include one in which the Japanese are the descendants of the lost 10 tribes, and another, mostly associated with Mormonism, in which certain Native Americans are the descendants. But according to British Israelism, the lost 10 tribes migrated north and then west around the Black Sea, eventually ending up in northwestern Europe, where, for example, the tribe of Reuben became the nation of France, and the tribe of Dan became Denmark. But British Israelism is primarily concerned with 2 out of the 10 lost tribes, Ephraim and Manasseh. However, also according to the theory, the British monarch is not actually from the tribe of Ephraim, but rather from the tribe of Judah. This is because whereas the northern kingdom of Israel had several reigning dynasties throughout its history, the southern kingdom of Judah only ever had one, the house of King David. According to British Israelism, when the kingdom of Judah fell to the Babylonians, the prophet Jeremiah secretly escaped with one of the Judean princesses named Tehatefi, and he traveled with her all the way to Ireland, where she then married an Irish king. The royal line of Judah therefore continued in Ireland until it was then transferred over to Scotland and then finally over to Great Britain, when people come across the idea that the British royals are the direct descendants of the House of David. So, in short, there were no...
I want to give all the praises and the honor to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shah Bahashem, Recha HaKwadash, and double honors to the elder apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Honors also to you other elders and brethren, you followers of the truth, even you few sisters in Shalom to the elect. So anyway, I don't know where this came from, but this is some new or old belief that somehow VOCAB Malone has schemed off the top and created a so-called Hebrew Israelism doctrine, which there was already a white supremacist British Israelism doctrine that was not known. But leave it to us to do the research and find these things out, and we can see that this has been going on in white Christianity and white supremacy, and it's been hidden. But yet there's no videos on British Israelism. Now they believe that the people of France, Britain, the Europe, those nations are the biblical Israelites. But then he goes to say that the ones who are going to be saved will go run and hide in Petra. Or they say Petra. Well, you know where Petra is. That's the Idumeans. So this is crazy, right? This is crazy that VOCAB Malone has ceased to explore and bring out this information of British Israelism. British Israelism, a racist Christian identity nationalist group. That's what they are. And they believe totally in white supremacy. The Klan is an offshoot of them. And they uphold the Bible. They're a nationalist group. And they follow British Israelism. Now, before I get started, let me read a scripture real quick. Psalms 21:11, or before I continue. For they intended evil against thee. They imagined a mischievous device, which they are not able to perform, right? And they're using the internet to try to bring in all kind of damnable heresies, right? Which we know the ultimate devices and things that are going to be used. It's a shame that we can't say the things that we want to say, but this is what it is. This is what VOCAB is doing. He's his whole thing for us is an intent of evilness. Mischievous means a high level of evilness, wickedness, wicked devising plans, making up, going into stories about black Israelism, but countless. Now we could say this guy, Dylan Ruth, was a British Israelism, right? He followed British Israelism, or you could say he was part of the Klan, which is a part of a Christian nationalism. So he was a Christian nationalist, okay? Christian nationalists are the ones who've committed all the work in the destruction of our people in the religious aspect, right? While we would build churches, they would bomb them, right? Then they would set those black pastors up in the ghettos and build churches just to destroy us, to keep us dumbed down, So this is Christian nationalists. They are the wicked. They're the ones that forced Christianity on us, right? Forced white Jesus on us. These are Christian nationalists. Those people that bombed up the White House are Christian nationalists. They all truly believe that they're the people of the Bible, right? Now, before I go any further, I want to go into this guy, his theological teachings. His name was Armstrong. What is his name? Herbert W. Armstrong, which I read a little bit on his stuff. He got caught in a dispute, a domestic dispute. He divorced. He was only married a couple of years because he was committing incest with his daughter. His wife wanted to bring it out in court, but it didn't quite happen. So these guys are all set up under the Roman Catholics. Another interesting thing, let me see if I could find it. Armstrong adhered to form a British Israelism, which stated that the British American and many European peoples were descendant of the so-called 10 lost tribes, using the belief to state that biblical references to Israel and Jacob were in fact prophecies relating to the modern day and literal application of the U.S. and Britain. This is crazy. Now, they're clearly all on the left-hand side. And this man said when things happen, they're going to go hide in the caves of Petra or mountains of Petra or whatever. This proves that these are all the Edomians. They're the ones in power. So here's the weird thing. I remember being younger, watching Charleston Heston, the people of that land, and then the Egyptians, and they both have them white. It's all right, and this is my whole point of this video. It's all right when it's on the white side of it, but when it comes with us, it's always an issue. A white nation can have another white nation in slavery. A white nation can do it all can claim to be the chosen people. Everybody can do what they want. But when we say one dark nation against another dark nation, or when we say we are the chosen people, now there's the big issue. Now there's the big troubles. You know, it's all a double standard, man. Because what it is the truth. It is all the truth. Let's go to. There's so many things he said. I'm just going to hit a couple of points. He went on to talk about the northern tribe, being taken captive. King Shalamazar, I believe the 5th, and then the 10 tribes took counsel and came over, which we believe to the Americas, right? So we'll get that in 2nd Ezra, I believe the 13th chapter. It says, those are the 10 tribes which were carried away prisoners out of their own land in the time of Hosea the king, or you could say Hoshea the king, whom, here we go, Shalamazar, the king of Assyria, led captive, and he carried them over the waters, and so they came into another land. And then, we also understand that it also goes into ultimately the 10 tribes went into the land let me go on. It says, but they took counsel amongst themselves that they would leave the multitude of the heathen and go forth into a further country where never mankind dwelt. And that's the point I wanted to get to. So then we talk about the 10 lost tribes. So they say it's Japanese. Now the majority of the 10 lost tribes came over here in various other parts of the South Americas. But you still had some of the lost tribes are in Japan too. But that's not the main region of the 10 lost tribes. You got the lost tribes that are scattered throughout the world. But there are main focal points of where the 10 lost tribes are. And it clearly makes sense. As I said in a video yesterday, all the hell that we went through, everything that we suffered and struggled with, we are not being acknowledged as the hell that we went through. Who else can go through that much drama, that much heartache and pain and suffering, but yet not be labeled as something biblical? Hell, they call a hurricane biblical before they call what happened to us biblical. Hosea 1:10, a future prophecy. Yet the number of the children of Israel shall be as the sand of the sea, which are scattered, which cannot be measured nor numbered. And it shall come to pass that in the place where it was said unto them, ye are not my people, there shall be said unto them, ye are the sons of the living God. Right? Paul quoted that in Romans the 9th chapter as well, if I'm not mistaken. It says, then shall the children of Judah and the children of Israel be gathered together and appoint themselves one head, and they shall come up out of the land, for great shall be the day of Jezreel. So the Most High is going to bring the children of Judah and the children of Israel back together, which you see happening before your eyes. Right? Let's go to Psalms 10:2. In arrogance, the wicked hotly pursue the poor. Yep, that's vocab. Let them be caught in the schemes that they have devised. So vocab did a video, a short clip video, saying that GMS got white boys in the camp. All that's going to do is make people look and say, well, wait a minute. Now you can look and see, well, it's not so much about skin color. So all he's doing is helping fulfill prophecy. That's all he's doing, is helping fulfill prophecy. In the arrogance, the wicked hotly pursue the poor. Right? And this is what you see happening. But no great videos on British Israelism. The total opposite of what we teach but kind of the same concept, that they're the chosen people. They're off because he said King Tia Taffy went and messed with the Irish king to keep on to going to lineage. So they're about the woman's lineage, keeping the lineage going when it's the man that bring forth the lineage. So I don't understand that part, but they're all wicked. And even this guy in the video said that the 10 tribes never really were lost. Well, obviously they were lost because nobody knew who they were. And we're the only ones tend to know who they are. Anyway, this is the madness that these people are spewing out of their mouth with these crazy doctrines. I don't really have much else to say. It was interesting that British Israelism exists. And I don't know if VOCAB got his whole song and dance from this topic or even this group, because he said it happened in the 1800s. So I guess during the 1800s, you had a split where blacks were saying we the Hebrews and the whites were saying we the Hebrews. I don't know. Let's say that was the case. But there's one truth in the middle. There's one truth. And the truth supports us being the Hebrew Israelites through the curses, which we can clearly see. The greatest people, but stuck on the bottom. We can clearly see through everything that we've been through and all the suffering and all the things that has happened, the slave ships, the yoke of iron around the neck, being cast off in different places and ripped from your children. The story ripped from your parents, taken from your children, all the things that was done to us, lynched, hung, burned, castrated, left for dead, hanging on crosses, hanging on trees, same thing. But yet we're not the people of the Bible. That's crazy. You got other people who claim they're people of the Bible and their so-called tribulation was minute compared to ours, but somehow they're the people because they're there. When it's Deuteronomy 28:64 said the people would be scattered throughout the whole globe. This is crazy. But then there would be a main place that they would be in, and they would be under them curses until the Lord returns. So if there's people who claiming to be Israelites or the chosen people of God, not under the curses and living good to some degree, and Yahushua hasn't returned, or in their case the Messiah hasn't returned, the Most High hasn't returned, how are they the people of God? Joel, the 3rd chapter, brings sold a boy for a harlot and a girl for wine. Who else has that happened to? Anyway, that's all I have on that. Shalom.